Welcome into your Denver Sports Daily. Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton wants to be paid like a wide receiver number one in the league. But is he actually a wide receiver number one? Welcome to your Denver Sports Daily for May 28th. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel V. Hill.
Courtland Sutton has been skipping the team's offseason program as he seeks a new revised contract. Sutton is set to have a base salary of $13 million this season with $2 million guaranteed, according to overthecap.com. And next year, Sutton's base salary will increase to $13.5 million, but none of it will be guaranteed. Entering the final 2 years of his contract, the 28-year-old wide receiver wants a raise. Quote unquote, he'd like to see to get in maybe that $15 to $16 million range. That comes from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who reported that earlier this month. We'll see if they can find a sweet spot. Indeed, Andrew Mason has done a wonderful article over at denversports.com, essentially saying Courtland Sutton doesn't deserve to be paid as a wide receiver number one. I've already seen some of the comments coming in saying I don't think he should be paid as a wide receiver number one. So I'm very curious. Let me know how you're feeling. Do you think the Broncos should in fact pay him that upper worth of $15 or to $16 million, or should they just stick it out for the next 2 years and see what happens? I find it very, very interesting to see what they're going to do. In other NFL news, the NFLPA is proposing eliminating OTAs in favor of a longer ramp-up training camp. This is very interesting because we know players love to have, kind of get in the zone for a little bit and then have some off time to spend with families, spend with kids who are off on, summer break. But while training camp is in mid-June is a dreadful thought, it never made sense to have the 2-month off-season workouts, then 5-week vacation, then camp, which I totally do agree with. And you don't see a lot of workplaces kind of have something around this. Now, again, the NFL, because of how strenuous it can be during the actual season, I get why you would want to have the 5 weeks off, but it just doesn't really make sense. And I know one of the things they are definitely targeting is there's too many early camp injuries when players are coming back. Tim Patrick is an excellent example of this. I find it very interesting, and I don't think that players or coaches are necessarily going to be all in for this, but we'll see what the NFLPA does. They stand for the people. They stand for the players. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if OTAs are no longer a thing coming in the upcoming years. So another interesting one, and you might have got the breaking news yesterday around it. The Washington Commanders have been made aware of a lawsuit filed in a civil court last week against kicker Brandon McManus. Obviously, he was the former Broncos kicker for quite a few years, and ESPN reported 2 women are suing McManus for sexually assaulting them during a charter flight to London last year when he was playing for the Jaguars, who said they are made aware of the complaint. ESPN says the women are accusing McManus of rubbing and grinding against them during the flight, and the Jaguars failed to supervise him and create a safe environment for staff serving the team. They are seeking more than $1 million. A Commander spokesperson said the team is looking into the situation and has spoken with McManus' agent in the NFL office, adding, "We take allegations of this nature very seriously." As you can see the statement right there on your screen. Not a good look for Brandon McManus for sure. Moving on over to the NBA, Bill Walton, Hall of Fame center and beloved broadcaster, has died at the age of 71. The league announced Monday that Walton died Monday, surrounded by family after battling cancer. Walton was a star at UCLA, where he won 2 national titles before he was drafted first overall by the Trailblazers in 1974. He won a championship with the Blazers in 1977 and was the league's MVP in 1978. He later won a second title with the Celtics in 1986. Walton had a long second career as a broadcaster for both NBA and college basketball games, and he was also the lover of rock and roll, and especially the Grateful Dead, hosting his own show on SiriusXM. His son, Luke Walton, is a former Lakers head coach and current assistant coach for the Cavaliers. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Walton was truly one of a kind and redefined the center position. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar joined in with other NBA greats to pay tribute to Bill Walton. He wrote on social media, "My very close friend, fellow Bruin, and NBA rival Bill Walton died today, and the world feels so much heavier now." He continued, "On the court, Bill was a fierce player, but off the court, he wasn't happy unless he did everything he could to make everyone around him happy." Abdul-Jabbar concluded, "He was the best of us." Larry Bird also shared a heartfelt tribute to a friend and teammate, Bill Walton, and goes on to say, "I am very sorry about my good friend, Bill Walton. I love him as a friend and as a teammate. It was a thrill for me to play with my childhood idol, and together we earned an NBA championship in 1986. So, of course, we send our condolences on to Bill Walton and the entire family as well. Sticking in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves are down 3-0 to the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. This kills me a little bit inside, everybody. To go a little personal, I always want to lose to the team that goes on to win it all. I hate being like, oh, well, you would have got bounced by the next team. I just want to lose to the best team. So, of course, with the Nuggets losing to the Timberwolves in the fashion that they did, to see them now down 3-0 to the Dallas Mavericks, it's just a little bit of a gut punch to me. I'm not going to lie. But in order to get to the finals, they'll have to become the first team in NBA history to overcome that deficit. Wolf star Anthony Edwards still has faith, though. Don't get it wrong. After game 3, Edwards told his teammates, I still don't feel like they can beat us, bro. We haven't been all clicking at one time. One game, one game. Well, we're here now, fellas. What are we going to do? That's a great question. What are they going to do? I'm going to look forward to see how game 4 ends up going, and will the sweep be continued? Just because now, as we go on to the other side of the bracket, for the third time in 4 games, the Indiana Pacers held a late fourth quarter lead. And for the third time in 4 games, the Boston Celtics erased it. Boston rallied from an 89-82 fourth quarter deficit Monday night to secure a 105-102 win over the Pacers for a second comeback in 2 games in Indianapolis. The win secured a 4-0 Eastern Conference final win for the Celtics and a spot in the NBA Finals. Boston will obviously now wait to see who will win between the Mavericks and the Timberwolves, and will look to face them in the NBA Finals. The Mavericks, like I said, they hold that 3-0 series late. So it'll be very interesting to see if we have 2 sweeps in the Eastern and the Western Conference Finals. Now, moving over to baseball real quick, Ronald Acuna Jr. is out for the season. The reigning Nationals League MVP tore the ACL in his left knee on Sunday. The loss is another significant blow to the team, which already lost ace Spencer Strider for 2024. The injury comes less than 3 years after Acuna suffered the same injury to his right knee while jumping to make a catch in right field. A huge bummer, obviously, over there. He was the MVP for a reason, so it's always such a bummer when you see something like that happen. And we obviously are sending him best of luck as he's on his road to recovery. Now, last one for you. Steph Curry just announced the birth of his 4th child. The Golden State Warrior star took to Instagram to tell the followers that he and his wife Ayesha added a little one to their roster. Curry says his son decided to come a little earlier than expected on May 11th, before noting that Kaya's Chai Curry is happy, healthy, and settling into their new family of 6. So congratulations to both Stephen and Ayesha Curry on that front. Real quick, last one for you. We've got, of course, to talk about the Rockies because we've got their schedule lined up for you. They actually got a win 8-6 yesterday. Woo woo! We love to see it. And then they will take on the Cleveland Guardians tonight, 6:40 p.m. Mountain Time, again on Wednesday night. Yeah, with the holiday, I'm like, what day is it? On Wednesday, and then they will take on the Dodgers later this week. Want to check out your guys' comments? It's my favorite thing to do every single day. So thank you for spending just a little bit of your time with me here today. Let's see. I love Court, and I would be screaming to give him a new contract. But what happens if he gets hurt, like after signing a new contract, like he did the old one? Then what? Okay. Good point. I see what you're going for. He's not worth a raise. I actually do agree with this. I do not think Courtland Sutton is worth a raise. Court, you're not an elite player. Okay, interesting one. Let's see. Sorry, but we should not restructure until next year unless you can keep the 2 years, but add some guarantee and maybe a bonus. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure the little details of contracts and what you can, change and do all of that kind of stuff, but that might be another good way to get around it without giving him the contract extension. Let's see. Okay, so we'll stick with the Court stuff and then we'll get into some of the other comments that I see. I do not think that Courtland Sutton deserves to be paid like a wide receiver number 1. I don't think he's done anything. Yes, last year we saw some incredible catches, some incredible touchdowns from Courtland Sutton, but from Russell Wilson, but I just don't think he has done enough. I mean, we've barely seen a 1,000-yard season out of Courtland Sutton, and he just hasn't been the player that he was before he got injured. And I always feel bad saying that because, nobody expects an injury. Nobody wants an injury for any of these players. He just hasn't been the same since then, and I just personally don't think that he's worth it. And the fact that he's not coming out, I'm a big, leadership person, so if you're not, then you're probably going to disagree with me. If you're not willing to come out and, work out with your new quarterbacks and try and get to know all of them, I'm sure they all talk and everything, but there is something about being here, being at OTAs, doing the exact same workouts with a lot of your teammates that I think can really just add to the chemistry of all of you guys going together. And again, he's got new quarterbacks. It's not like Russell Wilson is still here and the chemistry is building. We saw Courtland Sutton go out to San Diego many times to go work out with Russell Wilson. Why he's not having that same respect for some of these new quarterbacks, I don't know, but to be honest, I'm like, you're not showing the leadership qualities that I would want out of you. Sean Payton is obviously not concerned at all about it. They still have him for 2 more years regardless. So it's kind of like take what you're given at this point. And I always want to see him. It is, of course, voluntary workouts. He doesn't have to be here. And I'm sure once the season actually starts and things gets rolling, things will be fine. But it's just the little things. And I'm like, I want you to come back out here. Like, you should be here working out at OTAs. You are a leader of this team. You are probably one of the most well-known names on this team at this point. So I don't like that he's been sitting out, but to each their own, I guess. Let's see. Makes you hope people say nice things about you when it's your time to go. What can I do about that today? I love this, actually. Yes, pass around as much kindness as you can. I loved the quote saying that, like, he wasn't happy. Bill Walton wasn't happy unless everyone around him was happy. So I think that does speak magnitudes to who he was as a person. Of course, we send our condolences to his entire family. But yeah, what can you do about that today? I always say pass along a comment. If you see somebody, like, I always like to, if I see a girl who's really like her outfit, I always try to make sure I go out of my way to let her know. Same thing about different thoughts and ideas. I love reading your guys' comments for that exact reason as well. So thank you for that. Let's see. I love the comments. Keep them coming. Congratulations to Steph. Yes, congratulations. I'm like, 4 kids. It's a lot. It's a lot in one house, but there's one family it feels like can do it. It would definitely be Steph Curry and Aisha. I used to be a huge, like, massive fan of Aisha Curry. I loved her cookbooks and everything like that. So I'm always wishing them good. I absolutely love the comments. He's worth a raise. We do this with everybody. I think it's interesting to see that. Trade him for a good tight end. Go watch Orange and Blue today. Go watch it, or you can go back and watch Coffee Break with Cecil Lammy and I. We are talking about a tight end that the Broncos have on their roster who could possibly be a complete stud. Sean Payton was highlighting him. This guy is going to be nuts. So go check out the name Coffee Break Orange and Blue today. I know they've done a ton over on them too. So it's going to be good. But he saw what Judy got and wants a huge contract. That could possibly be too. You got your teammate, you got possibly a friend over there. You just saw him get a big bag. You want to get paid like that. Maybe. I mean, neither ones were wide receiver number ones by any means. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. But that is going to do it for our Tuesday edition of Denver Sports Daily. Appreciate you hanging out with me for just a little bit. Come hang out with myself, Will Peterson, on Coffee Break, 12 p.m. We'll be answering some of your guys' comments and questions. So we will see you over there. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow morning right back here, 10 a.m. for another episode of Denver Sports Daily. Get back to work, everybody. Bye.